welcome, or welcome back to 4F Beauty. When will I be YouTube famous? I don't know. But all the while you keep watching them, I'll keep filming them. Now, the look that I've done today is done, it's kind of inspired by the Gemini Melt palette, but I can't afford the Gemini Melt palette, so I used 4 shades from Colourpop that I have got in here, and it's, I'm trying to cover up all the other shades, it's those 4, which, as you can see, are pretty much the main colours of the Gemini palette. Now, if you want to see just exactly how I achieved this look, then you're in exactly the right place, because here comes the tutorial. Hey, welcome back from the intro. If you've watched any of my Hell Yeah Whoa No's, you will know I have been lusting after the Melt Gemini palette, but sadly it was way out of my reach. So, I kind of made a little bit of a Colourpop order. Now, this is my big double, my Kitco case that I keep my individual shadows in. And I love this because it's got the 2 different halves. You can get so much in them. I really, really love this. Right. Now, the shadows that I'm talking about are these 4 here. That's the 4 that I got from Colourpop. They are, she said, trying to lift them up without gouging a hole into any of them or any of the other colours that I've got in here. Right, this one is Paper Tiger. Which is a nice mustardy yellow. And then I've got Team Captain, which is a beautiful khaki. Yes, I'm aware it matches my nails. That's the 2 colours I was lusting after that I just didn't have anywhere in any of my other palettes that I could find, not specifically those shades. And then I got this one, which is Tea Garden, which, as you can see, is a foiled shade. Which, that was a really crap swatch. There we go, which looks like that. And then finally, this one doesn't really match the other 3, but I've wanted it for a very long time. It's called Glass Bull. It's one of their best sellers, actually. And this one looks like that. So, I am going to be using the Colourpop shadows. I'm also going to be using this skin toned coloured one, well, for me at least, from Makeup Revolution, and I might dip into one of these greens here. Those 3 are Makeup Geek. That's Makeup Geek, that's the Balm, that's Homemade Shadows, so can't get those. This row is all Makeup Revolution, or Revolution Beauty, whatever they're calling themselves these days. This row is NYX, and that row is Colourpop. So, I have got my colour switch. The fan is on because it is ridiculously hot still, and it is currently midnight when I'm doing this. Yeah, and it's still ridiculously hot, to the point I'm having to get one of these to I'm not entirely sure putting foundation on was a bright. No, it's not. It's really not a good idea. Because I don't think I'm going to have any on by the end of this. Right, okay, scrap this. Back in a minute. I am back. I have removed. If I get distracted, there's flying things coming in the back door again. I have removed all of my makeup except for the concealer, which is Colourpop, and it is set with the Revolution Lace Powder. And my brows are done with the L'Oreal Brow Expert, and that sounds like hubby about to walk in the back door.
Hello there.
Hello, lovey.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Just going to film a look because it's too bloody hot to do it during the day.
Oh, damn right, it's too hot during the day.
Right, so let's get you zoomed in and let's get cracking with this look. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go into that skin-toned, creamy coloured one from Makeup Rev, just to double set to make sure that there's no issues with blending. Obviously it's not, normally I say blend the same shadows over themselves. But in this case I know how this shadow performs because I've used it before, so I'm quite happy to use that as the base. This brush is a Spectrum B06, by the way. Right, I'm going to go into that Paper Tiger, wasn't it, the yellow one, mustardy yellow. Tap off. I'm just going to run that through my crease, pick up a wee bit more on the brush, and just blend that up, as I always do, in little circular movements. And the reason I do circular movements going up is because where I'm a little bit older and I've lost a lot of weight, my eyelids move quite a bit, so by doing circles I make sure that I don't get any gaps in the shadow. That's blended out really nicely, as you can see. So I'm going to go and do the same thing on the other side. Now, when I look straight ahead you can see all of my mobile lids, so I don't have hooded eyes, so I can just follow the shape of my eyeball. If you don't see that, then you can still follow the tutorial. All you need to do is get a finer brush, like a pencil brush, and just with your eye open sketch where you need your crease to start from. It's just a case of moving the crease up a little bit. Now, because I've got quite deep set eyes, I've got a lot of space to play with between my crease and my brows. I normally take it to within about 5 mils of the lowest part of my brow. If you've got hooded eyes and you've had to move your crease up, you may want to start with a slightly smaller brush than this, because obviously the amount of space you've got to play with will be a little bit different to mine. That's gone on really nicely, and yellows are... Normally you have to layer them up a lot more than that to get good pigment, but I like this. That's looking good. That's looking very good actually. Right, clean that brush off using the colour switch, and now I'm going to go into the khaki, what was that, Team Captain from Colourpop. Shall I use this one or shall I go for a slightly smaller brush? No, I think I'm going to go down to a smaller brush. I'm going to go in with, this is a brush from the Balm. didn't mean to take that off that way, I was going to slide it down. There we go. This is a double-ended brush from the Balm called their Crease Love and Happiness brush. I'm going to use this end and I'm going to go into that Team Captain. Oh, that kicks up a lot more in the pan. I'm just going to lay a little bit of colour. Oh, look at that pigment on the outside of my eye there, going about a third of the way along the eyelid. And just buff that corner a little bit. Nice. Pick up a wee bit more. And I'm going to run that along the crease like we did before. And then I'm going to tilt my head back a bit and blend it, but I'm not going to blend it up as high as I did with the first colour. So I'm just blending it about halfway up. And then I'm going to go back in with that fluffier brush that I used before and really buff the edges to get a nice seamless blend between the two. How's your day been? How are you coping with this heat? Or is it not hot where you are? Are you in Australia where you're autumn winter time now? Problem in the UK is that we don't have aircon as standard, so, and we have a very humid heat as well, which means that when you get hot and you start sweating, your sweat doesn't evaporate off your skin very quickly, it just sits on your skin, which of course makes you feel doubly hot. Because the whole point of sweating is that when it evaporates off your skin, it cools your body down a bit, which, if it's not evaporating off your skin, it's not doing much for cooling your body down. So I'm just going to repeat that khaki on this side, initially buffing it with this smaller brush to keep the intensity of pigment concentrated at the bottom there, on the crease where I want it. So I'm just going to clean that brush off. And I'm going to go back in with my fluffy one, my BO6.
I'm just going to water the plants, darling.
Alright, lovely. And again, just going to buff and blend that across. You can see there is a bit of patchiness coming there, so I'm just going to pick up a wee bit more on this fluffy brush, just to, yeah, I think maybe I chose I think that Balm one is okay for laying the colour down, but I think this one's better at actually blowing the colour. I might adjust the other eye as well in a minute. Just give it a good old blend. And if you've got good quality shadows, they won't go muddy. Just going to take the excess colour off of there, pick up a little bit more of that yellow again, just so we don't lose that. And buff over the edge with that yellow, with the paper tiger. I'm really into my yellows and my greens and purples and blues at the moment. So, couldn't resist. Could not resist. And Colourpop sent me a £5 voucher because I'd not ordered from them from a while. So it meant that the postage for me was $5 to the UK, not $10. So I'm like, do you know what? Sod it, I'm going to do it. So I'm just jealous because Becky's got she's got the Gemini one from Melt that I wanted, but I just couldn't afford it and I couldn't justify it. Couldn't justify sticking it on my... I mean, if I was at the stage where I was getting monetised and I was earning off of YouTube, then obviously I'd pump whatever I earned back into it, but at the moment I need to get up to about something like 1,000 subs. So I need 10 times the amount of subs that I've got, and 4,000 hours of watch time. So I'm a long way off being monetised. I don't mind, it just means that, you know, I can't always get the palettes that I want. So, but again, at least I'm showing. I mean, these were $4 each. That was like $16 plus £5 postage was 21. So that's about 17-18 quid for those 4 shadows. So that's not too bad for individual shadows. And it's certainly a lot cheaper than the 60 quid it would have cost me if I'd ordered that Gemini palette. And to be honest, the colours that I wanted out of the Gemini palette are the colours that I've ordered. I've got all the other colours, so it would have been a bit of a waste of money, to be honest. You right there, baby?
Yeah, not too bad. Thought I'd better to water the plants at night.
Yeah, so that they don't burn in the heat.
Exactly.
Right, I'm gonna get this is a Spectrum A12 pencil brush, and I'm gonna go into that Team Captain, which is the khaki. I'm just gonna I really need to concealer first, don't I? Okay, let me grab some concealer. This is the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eraser in 00 Ivory, which is one of the new colours they've brought out. So I'm hoping that this one will actually be the right shade for me, because the other one is a wee bit yellow on me, unfortunately. It's okay if I'm wearing it with foundation, but if I'm like I am now, where I've not got foundation on, it can be a bit obvious that I have concealer on. And let's face it, the whole point of concealer is it's meant to conceal your faults, not draw attention to them by being a completely different blooming colour to the rest of your face. And when you're cool undertoned like me, suddenly having a yellow concealer under your eyes. I mean, it can be great for helping to cover up, you know, the blue and the purple that I get under my eyes. You know, any sort of peachy undertones will do that. But as I said, that only really works if you've got a foundation on as well to cancel out the very, very cool undertones that I have. Right, that's that blended out. I'm just going to grab a little bit of my lace powder from Makeup Rev. I'm just going to set that so we don't get creases, because the last thing we want is creases under our eyes making us look older than we actually are.
Oh yeah, how old are you, darling? 28?
Can you see why I married him? I joke, of course. I married him for a lot of other reasons than just the fact that he always pays me compliments, and first thing in the morning before he's even opened his eyes, first thing he says is, "You look lovely today, baby." And I'm like, how can you tell you haven't got your eyes open? Because you always look lovely, darling.
You always do.
See? Find a man who does that, or find a woman who does that. Find someone who loves you when you're looking as rough as a bag of spanners.
As rough as a bag of spanners.
Yeah, rough as a bag of spanners. Because I tell you, some mornings I look as rough as a bag of spanners, I can tell you. Right, now, going in with that khaki, I'm going to smudge that just under my bottom lashes here. About 2/3 of the way along. Actually, no. As you can see, I said 2/3 of the way along, and then went all the way along. So apparently my hand decided that it wanted to go further than my brain was telling it. Fabulous. Well, it's okay. It's just makeup. It's fun. Just going to deepen that corner up there. Do the same this side, just thicken that outer corner up a little bit. Nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice. And now I'm going to go in with, this is one of my So Eco brushes, but it was printed on the handle what it is, but it kind of has worn off. So yeah, thanks for that, So Eco. Really, really helpful.
Shows it's gone to good use.
Yeah, but it'd be really helpful if they actually put it on their brush in a way that you could actually read it for longer than a few months, so that you can tell people which brush you're using. Anyway, the brush looks like this. I am going to pick up some of this, which is Makeup Geek Fuji. Just on the very tip of the bristles. I'm just going to smudge that just along that bottom lash line, just to make it a little bit softer. You know, it's weird, whenever I watch anybody else using individual shadows and they show you their pan, it's all full of warm tones and pinks and reds and oranges, and mine is full of greens and purples and blues. Can you guess which colours I'd choose if I was making a palette? Right, I'm going to go into Tea Garden from Colourpop, that's this one. I'm going to try it initially on a dry brush, and I think it's probably going to need, let's zoom in a little bit more, I think it's probably going to need setting spray on it to make it have any oomph. Just put that on the 2/3 of the upper lid that hasn't got any colour on it. Yeah, it definitely needs a bit of setting spray. Right. Give that a squirt with some setting spray. I'm actually using the Obsession Pigment Boost. You can use any setting spray. You can use water, so long as it's clean. It just increases the pigment factor. Just pack a wee bit more of that on, just along that lash line. And gently smudge just where it meets Team Captain at the corner there. Yeah, I like that. This is fulfilling my Gemini wishes for significantly less than the Gemini palette would have cost me. And now obviously we're going to do the same on this side. I know this looks like a cut crease, it's not really a cut crease because I haven't put concealer down first. I'm just literally using the pigment of the shadow itself to colour the lid, but it gives a cut crease effect, but it's just a little bit softer. Yeah. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Right, I've got a little Spectrum A16 brush here, and I'm going to go into one of the homemade pigments that I've got here, just for the inner corner, just to give that a nice bit of kick. As you can see, I'm just going to bring it down to meet those colours that we put underneath the eye. I always end up putting some in my eye, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous, as my husband would say.
It really is. Can I get the sippy cup from upstairs, darling?
If you really want to, I've got to do another film after this though, so I'm not going up just yet.
Can I go up ahead of you and
Start playing on your Xbox.
Yes. Not sponsored.
Is the is the window locked?
It will be.
You better do the back door as well if you're going up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because my back, I can't get that netting down, can I?
I think so.
Right.
I'll shut this door. So
Enough of the family dramas. If you're wondering what... Hang on, let me zoom you back out a minute. So you can see more than just my eyeballs. If you're wondering what a sippy cup is, husband referred to, it's one of these like jam jar style things with a screw top lid on. We tend to take either a water or a juice up with us, because I normally lay there watching YouTube videos and he plays on his Xbox for a while until we both feel tired and then we doze off. Right, I'm going to pause you. I don't think I'm going to do winged liner today because I just want the shadows to have their moment, so I'm going to pop a bit of highlight on, mascara, lippy, and I will be right back. Hey, I'm back. In terms of face wise, I was going to use my L'Oreal Life's a Peach. I actually got the matching back to bronze. Disappointingly, this does not smell of peach or chocolate or anything. Most disappointing. The highlight I've got on is the lightest part of this one, which is the Revolution Renaissance Illuminate Radiant in Rose, which, although it's called Radiant in Rose, is actually apricot coloured, which is lovely. The lippy is one of these new L'Oreal Le Chocolat in shade Bittersweet. And on top of that, I've tapped a bit of that shade. That's the shade of the highlighter that I use. And I've tapped a little bit of this one just over the lips to give them a little bit of ooze. I used my Barry M That's How I Roll waterproof mascara. I was really surprised at how heavy that felt. That feels like a much more expensive mascara than it is. And if you've watched any of my Hell Yeah Wonos, you know I was going to pick up one of these. Cucumber Fixing Spray. So, there we go. There's my Colourpop cheaper version of the Gemini Melt palette. So, ignoring the starting with foundation, taking the foundation off, continuing with this because it's still too damn hot, I really hope you enjoyed this. If you did, perhaps you could hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe. If you subscribe, click the little bell, and make sure when you click the bell you choose all notifications, not some. Otherwise, you're never going to know when I upload another one of these videos. All that remains for me to say is stay fabulous. And I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.